Well, this is the Betfred Boxing Show, but as you can see, we're not in the Betfred studio. We're not on Zoom. We're in Leeds. We're on the road. And this isn't Anthony $1 Million Crawler either, who's normally by my side.
Definitely not as handsome as Anthony $1 Million Crawler.
But you certainly have not stopped smiling, Eddie. It looks like you're really enjoying today and really enjoying being on the road again.
Yeah, because it just feels normal, doesn't it? And I feel like this Saturday, I feel like a fan. Because I'm looking at the card and I'm looking at the fights and I'm thinking about 20,000 people at Headingley. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to go out. I'm excited to watch boxing. I'm excited to put it on. And I'm excited to see what happens. So great to have normality back and welcome everyone to a press conference. Weigh in tomorrow. We're going to get a big crowd there and of course, a bigger crowd on Saturday.
It's an interesting looking card as well. There's a couple of, obvious banana skins, if you like, with Straffon that we've seen what he did recently against Tennyson, and obviously the main event, which has got so many question marks all over it. How do you feel about it yourself?
Very nervous about the main event because when Josh came to us about a year and a half ago, it might have been 2 years ago now, to re-sign with us, we came to Headingley, we booked Headingley, we did the contract with Kanzu, It was the Ring magazine belt, and of course the world came crashing down. We looked at opponents, we saw Mauricio Lara, I sent it to the team, they accepted it, and then he turned up in the bubble for that fight, and I was in the changing room and I'm thinking, I haven't been around a Josh Warrington fight for a couple of years, because that's when we worked together. Just doesn't seem, the fighter weren't there.
I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, no, and then of course Lara puts on, and actually one thing that's not really said about that fight is it was a tremendous fight. I mean, if that fight had a crowd, you imagine. And by the way, Josh Warrington is a brave individual. I mean, he had to be nailed to the canvas, quite frankly, to stop that fight. Yeah. And Lara now comes with belief and confidence, which is really dangerous. But Josh Warrington does come with, fear. He comes with form, in the gym. He comes with just that big fight, mentality of I must win this and I must win this in front of my people. But I just don't, I don't know. I'm desperate for him to win. But you just look at Lara and he just exudes confidence. Even in the first fight, in the bubble, I met him for the first time, and I was thinking he seems confident, And then now he's almost arrogant,
But I would have thought you would have lost all these Mexicans' numbers, to be honest.
I love great fights, and if someone comes to fight, sometimes when you're matchmaking, you're bringing over an international opponent that you don't really know a lot about. And Mauricio Lara is a good example, and so Straffon. You look at the record, sometimes a fighter lost a decision they shouldn't have. Sometimes they took a fight at 5 days' notice. So Lara comes with 2 defeats, decent knockout potential. You watch his tape, okay? Josh is the best featherweight in the world. But what you know is they are going to give it everything. Dangerous for your guys, but in sport, if you're good enough, you win. But what you saw with Lara, and particularly what you saw with Straffon when he knocked out Tennyson, I mean, this guy's on his knees crying his eyes out. He's changed his life, and that's what sport's about, So I'd rather know what you're getting. And when you're getting a great fight, that's what I want to put on. Sometimes it's tough for your fighters. But we're in the entertainment business. We want to see real fights, and these Mexicans are giving us real fights.
There's no doubt about that. What else kind of jumps out at you? I mean, when you're making these fights, you're promoting the event, there's always a few little sneaky fights that you've got a special eye on.
Well, we were lucky in this because, unlucky and lucky. Conor Benn against Granados, of course, postponed from the fight camp because of COVID. So this was just added to this card that was already stacked. I think that's a really good fight. I think that's a tough fight for Conor Benn. Granados is a good fighter, boxed at a very high level. I thought he beat Adrian Broner. Big fights with Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. I know everyone's raving about Conor Benn, but there's a long way to go still. Katie Taylor, of course, the absolute queen of women's boxing. Has got a tough fighter, mandatory, former world champion. I love Maxie Hughes against Straffon, but even Hopi Price against Zahid Hussein, and all Leeds battle. Of course, Ebanie Bridges, who causes a stir wherever she goes. She can really fight against Gangloff, Jack Bateson. It's an absolute monster night on Saturday.
And all eyes are going to be on you at the weigh-in now. These things are going viral now.
I don't know
so
what
Ebanie's going to do a thing.
Maybe one of those sleep masks or something. That'd be quite funny.
Well, you can get away with wearing a mask these days anyway, can't
Dark
you?
glasses.
Yeah. Just a final call. I know you're busy, as is always the case at these events, but obviously you're not doing it with Sky anymore.
Yeah.
It's DAZN. I think it's hanging around DAZN, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll be fine. Don't worry. I wasn't going to walk away from that Sky contract without good reason, Dom. And it's great. It's competitive. You saw Sky announce some stuff yesterday. This is what we want. I don't want to just have the whole game wrapped up. I want people to come at me. I want people to have the hump with me and try and overturn me. because that's what's going to strive me to keep deliver, and that's what makes it exciting. So the more the merrier. We've been at the top of the game for 10 years here in the UK, and we will stay there, and the future for DAZN is massive.
Well, good to hear from Eddie Hearn, of course, always in fine form, really relishing the press conference and looking forward to what could be a monumental night on Saturday night in Leeds at Headingley Stadium. But, of course, it's about the two men that are topping the bill. They're the biggest talking point. What will happen? Will it be repeat or revenge? Well, we heard from both men at the press conference.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back, and it's nice everyone to turn up, and it's nice to see that there's going to be a big crowd on Saturday night. It feels normal. You know, this feels normal. This is what I got used to. I got used to this big stage. You know, ever since winning the world title, the big occasions. I've been looking forward to these for such a long time. Obviously, re-signing with yourself. We were talking about going and conquering the world together, hand in hand. You know, winning the Ring Magazine belt. We was going to go over to Vegas, New York, and just right off into the sunset. But obviously, a victim of pandemic, sat out for 15 months, frustrating times. I look to put that right on Saturday night, and this is where the next stage goes on. This is where the next chapter begins. You know, I've been about the game a long time. And I can't wait to redeem myself. I mean, people have said to me, couldn't you have, even yourself and Steve, couldn't you have had a little time rounder, comeback? But what am I to do? I'm a proud man, and it would have made my toes curly if I were to sit and watch somebody else, fight Mauricio Lara. I want to give me redemption. I turned a few book deals down last year. And I think, after February 13th, the publishers probably won't ask about writing a book about Josh Warrington anymore. But, after Saturday night, when we put it right, it'll add a few zeros onto that book deal. But, just going back to normality, going back to a stadium, having the people there, having the crowd there, they're my second wind, they're my adrenaline, they're my 12th man, they're my Mexican beef. They're that little bit of advantage, and they're part of Josh Warrington's attributes, having them crowd behind me. So it's going to be special to walk out there, and I will get redemption.
I never expected the rematch to be so big. It's been huge here, and I've been looking on social media and the publicity and the marketing. It's been huge, so I'm really motivated. In our team, we've been working really hard. We've been working extremely hard over the last 3 months, and now anxiously anticipating and waiting for the 4th of September. So yes, I do believe I can silence them. I think us Mexicans are capable of silencing 20,000, 50,000, up to 100,000. Leeds is a lovely city, and I know fans here really love to experience these events. So I hope, I have all the respect in the world for them, and I'm looking forward to hopefully coming away receiving applause from them on the 4th of September. Yeah, as I said before, I'm hugely motivated. I've been training for 3 months, so I'm both mentally and physically prepared. I'm at my absolute peak at the moment, and I'm looking forward to taking advantage of that in the fight. I'll be taking it round by round, and hopefully my aim is, and the way we've prepared is that you will see either the same or an even better outcome. I'm 1,000% ready for putting on a great show. So as I said earlier, I'm preparing for the 12 rounds, but I'm also looking, and I'll be looking round by round to get that KO. Last time, I remember saying that I didn't think they were going to stop the fight, so I had to get him out there eventually. So what I did was I just kept chipping away at him, round by round, until eventually I was able to get him out of there.
Well, it's been a bit of a who's who, of course, at the press conference, hearing from the main men, Mauricio Lara and Josh Warrington. He's going to try and get revenge, of course, of that shocking night, February the 13th. But, of course, it's not just all about Josh. On the bill, Katie Taylor and also Ebanie Bridges. And she's been creating a bit of a stir, where everywhere she goes, she creates a bit of a stir. But we caught up with her a little bit earlier. Ebanie, you've had a good look at your opponent now.
Yeah.
And you do think that she fancies the challenge?
Definitely. She's here. I think she's a real fighter, She looks very tough. All the footage that I've seen of her, she likes to come and fight. So yeah, I mean, she's not here to, like I said, she's not here to fuck around. You know, I'm sure she's serious. Just I know that she was prepping for a fight like in a week or two, so she was already in camp and already ready to fight. We just kind of pulled her a little bit earlier.
Your profile over here has really grown,
Yeah.
clearly, you know, in the recent year, 18 months or so. Has it surprised you just how it has captured the imagination of the boxing public, your story, really?
I'm not sure about really surprised because I do feel like, you know, I kind of have that personality where people tend to take to me. But I would say it was definitely not expected to happen this fast. And I think I'm just, yeah, like I'm happy. Like, I mean, it's unreal. It's unbelievable. I suppose, like, maybe the word was surprised, but so I didn't expect it, yeah.
You did get some negativity.
Yeah.
The way that you portray yourself, your weigh-ins that have obviously got a lot of attention. Do you think you've overcome that, or do you think that there's a lot more positivity outweighing the negativity, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot more positivity, you know, but like, you know, I used to get a lot of slack about my weigh-ins, and that was, you know, really all I did was just weigh in underwear like everyone else, you know. Now I'm just like, whatever, you know, like I'll do what I want now and just play it up a little bit because, you know, I've proven myself, you know, so I just be me and whatever. But yeah, I think it's good, you know, you love me or hate me, I don't really care. And you know, the main thing is that when I get in that ring I can fight, and I can, and you've seen it over and over, so you're going to see it again on Saturday night.
So if you overcome this one, without looking ahead, but what is your plan? Because I'm sure you're always forward thinking in terms of what you want to do. So give us a little insight to what you want to do.
Well, I want a title, you know. This fight was supposed to have a title, so I don't really know what happened there. So I'm a bit disappointed that I'm not getting a title for this fight, because, you know, I want to get a title and set me up, and any intercontinental, international title set me up for another world title fight. So yeah, the next thing I want a belt. I want to go home with a belt. You know, I've been away from home for 6 months, and I want to go home with a title and a belt.
I was going to ask you about that because it is quite tricky for you. I know you've been over in Philly and you've been training with Enzo Macronelli as well. How do you do that in terms of your situation at home and being over here? I
mean, we've got to make sacrifices. That's a sacrifice I've had to make. I had to give up my job. You know, obviously, can't teach while I'm overseas. And my boyfriend, I'm lucky I have a very understanding boyfriend that's there at home, you know, hopefully waiting. But yeah, I mean, it's just what you got to do, isn't it? You know, and I didn't build all this up to get to a point and go, oh, actually, no, I'm not ready to make the fucking sacrifices, like, to do it. So yeah, I'm going to go home. No, it was like, okay, well, I'm here. I made this happen. I built this. I created this. And I got to see it through, and whatever that takes. And if you want to come with me, if you want to stick by me, then great, you know what I mean? And yeah, like you got to take it up in the moment, you know.
You're going to have some crowd there as well that you're going to get a little bit more attention.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I'm really excited for the crowd. 20,000 people, and in Leeds, you know, everyone knows that I'm a Leeds fan. I'm dressed in Leeds colours. You know, like I do love it to be fighting in front of these guys, and you know, Leeds fans are very, you know, popular and well known, even in boxing with the Warrington card. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, just even for my weigh-ins, you know, I'm looking forward to that as well. Yeah, everything about this is great.
You got to try and upstage another Leeds fan in Katie Taylor, then, have you, on this, Bill?
Yeah, I'm not going to try and upstage Katie Taylor at all. I'm just going to be me and do what I do, and you know, and just have fun. You know, it's about me, for me. I'm not about anyone else.
Have fun, enjoy.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Well, of course, a few weeks ago it was meant to be Conor Benn against Adrian Granados, topping the bill in Eddie's garden, but then COVID came around. Conor Benn couldn't fight, of course. Granados was very, very upset about that. But these two do get it on Saturday night in what is another really intriguing fight. So we're going to hear now from a very bullish Conor Benn and a very relaxed and confident Adrian Granados.
I don't believe the hype whatsoever, not in the slightest. Otherwise, I still wouldn't be getting up doing my runs. I'd think I'm all that in a bag of chips. But I ain't. I don't rely on my power. I've watched Granados' fights against Broner, Robert Easter, and he gave him one hell of a fight. One hell of a fight. I want the best Granados, and I believe I'm going to get the best Granados. But, you know, create the hype, don't believe it. Simple as that, and I don't believe it.
And finally, I know fight camp was special, but it's going to be pretty special on Saturday night in front of 20,000 people back in an open-air stadium in this kind of fight.
Do you know what? I've had so many people come up to me and go, it's going to be some reception, you know, it's going to be incredible. And I'm thinking they're going to top the O2 debut, you know. I just have a feeling about it, and I've had such a warm welcome here. So a massive shout out to the Leeds supporters. Thank you for such a warm welcome. I know we've got a job to do on Saturday, but after Saturday, I might join you lot in the pub and have a beer. It's either going to be a ruck, it's either going to be a proper serious fight, or someone's getting laid out. It ain't going to be me. And that's for sure. So I'm just work hard. I work so hard. Confidence is a luxury for the hard working. And people mistake my confidence for arrogance. But you lot ain't up with me running at 3 a.m. You lot ain't up with me getting up out of bed in my silk pyjamas. I had to. Sorry. You know, I'm crushing it in the gym. I have the right to be confident because I leave no stone unturned. I mean, look at the shape of me. And that's a testament to the 5 years hard work. That's a testament to my team working overtime. My strength and conditioning coach, my physio, my nutrition, Tony, my agent. It all plays a massive part. Teamwork makes the dream work, they say. So, and you know, that's where we're at. All I have to do is focus on beating the geezer up in the other corner. And my team allows me to do just that. And I've done it now 18 times. 18 or 19. If it ain't, it's going to be 19. So, you know, I work extremely hard. I'm very confident. Granados is a massive test. It ain't been, you know, this training camp of hard work. It's been 5 years of hard work. I live this life. I love this life. This is what I do. I'm a fighter. And it's just the way I am. I mean, you've seen the change. You've seen the transformation. It ain't come overnight and it ain't come easy. I put the work in. Every single time I give 100% and I'm leaving it all in there Saturday night.
Well, it's a pleasure to be joined by a very confident Adrian Granados, and again, you spoke very well at the press conference. It's very clear you've come here to do a number on Conor Benn, eventually, because we know what happened first time around. Yeah. The smile says it all, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm still got my fingers crossed and my prayers up to the Lord. It happened, I believe it was this day. It was this day, the day before the weigh-in that it happened, and it was unfortunate, but like I said, I'm appreciative of the opportunity. I'm appreciative of, you know, Matchroom and DAZN, and of course of Conor Benn. He's still willing to take this fight. Looks like he recovered 110%. And like I said, I think finally the respect has been there, has been established now. Usually that makes for a better classic, and I think it's going to be a fireworks fight on Saturday.
Now, you've done your homework on Conor Benn. He's done his homework on you. You've mixed in very elite company. You might have come up short, but it's very elite company. What kind of a challenge then does Conor Benn pose as far as you're concerned?
He poses a tremendous amount of of a challenge. He's strong, he's young, he's very, very confident in his abilities and what he wants to do in the sport. So, you know, it's a crossroads fight for both of us. You know, he wants to go forward, and me, I'm not done yet. You know, I think with the media, with the press, I pay attention. I think they think I've been through the ringer. Obviously, it's been years now since I've gotten a big win, and I'll accept that. I've been through a lot in the last 5 years. I plan on turning a new page. I believe it's the fourth quarter of my career now, and like they say, the great ones close strong. So, you know, I'm looking to start that new journey towards a world title with Conor Benn.
I know you're from Chicago, Mexican background. The Mexican fighters have been causing all sorts of problems on these shores in the last year or so. You obviously want to get in that mix and feel that that's going to be what happens again. And what about Giovanni as well? I suppose you expect him to do the business as well?
Yeah, I mean, I've caught, you know, glimpses of it. I haven't really paid attention to it as much as it's led up to this fight. Now I've realized, I'm like, oh wow, we're coming over here and messing things up a lot. I believe we have 3 Mexicans against three of the A sides, or not even A sides, but the favorites. So it is what it is. Aztec warriors. That's the bloodline. That's what we have. It's just in our blood. I'm proud of being a Mexican. I'm so appreciative of my mom and dad. My dad, he's an American hero to me. He crossed over and he's a legal citizen. He's a citizen of the United States. He's one of them Mexicans that did it right. I know we've gotten a lot of bad rap after the last presidency, and that's neither here nor there. But I think when it comes down to it, and from the English people, they're a lot more accepting because of boxing and because of their knowledge of the boxing history. So that's why, I'm loving. This is my first time fighting here, and I would love to become a regular out here.
Do you know what to expect with the crowd? Because I know a lot of fighters have crossed the pond and they love the crowd and love the atmosphere. Now the Leeds crowd and Josh Warrington, all that goes with it, it's going to be a bit crazy.
Well, that's what I said in one of the other interviews. A lot of people don't know one of my favorite movies is Green Street Hooligans. So yeah, I'm all about the life. I, obviously coming from Mexican heritage, we're great football fans. Obviously, what they call in the U.S. soccer.
Yeah, I was just going to congratulate you on that. Anyway, you didn't need congratulating.
Yeah,
You did it right. Well,
thank you. No. You already know. I mean, shoot. Immediately everyone's, oh, we got your boy. From I'm like, he gave me his real name, and I'm like, oh, you mean Chicharrito? Oh, no, hombre. That's. I mean, yeah, I'm a diehard myself. I'm a sports fanatic. I always even say for boxing, I'm a fan before a fighter. But yeah, no, I'm excited. A lot of people were telling me like Leeds is probably not the first place you want to go to visit for England, but I'm like, nah, I'm that type of guy. Give me that. Give me the real England. Give me the gritty, grimy side. Give me where the hooligans are at. Give me where the raucous crowd's at.
You're going to get a raucous crowd anyway, we'll say that. But enjoy the occasion anyway, and thank you very much indeed for talking to us. All the best to you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Well, of course, there's so much talent on this Leeds bill, and a very, very emerging star in the shape of Hopi Price is looking to do a real number on, well, it's a bit of a Leeds derby as well against Hussein. Now, his trainer is Dave Coldwell. Dave Coldwell, trainer, manager, again, very, very busy man. Just thought we'd catch up with Dave, find out a little bit more about Hopi, and of course, big news in his stable, the return of Derek War-Chisora.
We had, as you know, we had a couple of fights together a couple of years back, and then he needed me to train him in London, but I couldn't. I've got my stable in my own gym, got my family up here, so it wasn't something that could be worked out. I thought about doing what I did when I used to work for Haymaker, and I'd still be training Ryan Rhodes and people like that, where I'd train them in the morning, shoot down, go and help train them at night, and then come back. And I was doing that. But I was a lot younger then, do you know what I mean? And also, I didn't get to see my kids at all because it was just too hectic. So I didn't want to put myself back into that. But for this fight now, after Derek's last fight, he's had a little think about things, and then we had a good chat, and yeah, he's back up at my gym, working alongside Hopi, Lerone, Jordan. It's good. It's good vibe, good atmosphere, and he's getting some good work in. It really is.
He must still be very hungry. He's made a few quid, Derek, hasn't he? So
yeah.
He doesn't need it.
No, that's what we spoke about. He's not, although he does like to get the best deal he can for himself. Why not? He doesn't need to box for money. That's where you need to know where there's still something left to give, because you can want to do something even though there's nothing left there. But working with him these past 4 weeks, he's unbelievable. I can't explain to you how he's actually surprised me, because I kind of thought this is going to be hard work, because it was hard to get him going the previous time that I coached him, just changing a few things. But he's like a young kid, and his attitude as well. He said he's just come. His words are, he's come with no egos. Who just wants to learn and just wants to. And he'll stay behind. And he'll watch Jordan spar, he'll watch Hopi spar, he'll watch Lerone spar. Whereas before he'd train, go do his own business, whatever. Now he's hanging about in the gym and he's talking to everybody, like as in learning and learning from different people's experiences, different people's perspectives. It looks like he's really, really enjoying it, and I can see that in his performances in the gym. I'm really excited about working with him.
When you reel off the names of the stable, it's a really interesting mix, actually, isn't it? With obviously Lerone, he's a real character, isn't he, and a real talent. And Jordan, we know all about his skills, and then Hopi, who we've got to give him some airtime because it's his night on Saturday night as well. Tell us a bit about him. We've seen him. Obviously he's emerging, if you like, but tell him what you know about him that we don't.
He has got the best mentality out of everybody I've ever worked with. And when I say that, where even though I've had fighters that won titles and more proven and everything like that, I'm not talking about boxing side, I'm talking about the mental aspect, how they see things, how they work things out, how they handle things, how things just don't fluster them. Some people take, like with Bellew, it took me a few years to get the red mist out of him. When somebody caught him in sparring, he'd want to go straight away rather than being smarter and calculated. It used to take a bit of time for that. Some people don't believe in themselves to the max. Some people believe in themselves too much. Hope's mentality has been fantastic. From when I took him to the wild card before he had his pro debut, and we were told, he's gloved up, ready to spar at 10:30. Didn't actually get in the ring to spar until 2:00 in the afternoon. But he was calm as anything. I'm thinking, at that point, I didn't know him that well. I'm thinking, how's he going to handle this? But he went in there and was just cold as ice, just did what he had to do. Anthony Joshua, Bill, the same sort of thing. You're on, you're off. You're not fighting because of weather. You're not fighting unless he's there. Gloves came off twice. He was like, cool, all right. You're on 5 minutes. Right, okay, cool, no problem. Go out there, do a job. He listens to everything. Sparring, Kid Galahad, people like that, in early days, especially when it's rough and horrible for him. He's this long-ranger kid who's got somebody mauling him on the inside, and he's mentally just copes with it. No panic button or nothing. He's got an unbelievable understanding of the game. But the kid's talented. He's very, very talented. And now he's starting to develop more strength about him. The technique on his punches is better, is more ground. So now he's catching you on the right spot of the shot. But then the work that he's doing with Danny Wilson and Boxing Science, I'm seeing him physically now. And people, sparring partners, are now talking about how he feels strength-wise. He's sparring with guys that are super featherweights, heavier. And they're surprised at how strong he is, because they think
he's going to grow as well. He's going to fill out a bit, isn't he?
Do you know what? He does this weight easy. I never said to a fighter, I'm signing you at a certain weight, or that's it, we're working at this weight. So what you are is what you are. I don't want to keep him down in weight because he's still developing. But when he's still eating right up to the weigh-in, and he's doing super, you've got to remember, only a couple of years ago, I think he was doing flyweight or something like that in amateurs. Still a big, tall kid. Do you know what I mean? So now he's actually grown some more, but he still can make that weight so easily. Still, super bantamweight so easily. Last fight, it was supposed to be at 8:12, and he came and he was 8:10 and a half. He'd done the weight. It was not a problem. The fight before, sorry, I was really right. It ticks all the boxes so far, and that doesn't mean that you want to rush him.
No.
Some people say, "Oh, you've rushed him. He's 16-1 against a kid that he's 5-0. He's going against 16-1." Yeah, but it's about the fights, styles, fighters, the makeups of both fighters, and also then look at the record, right? Zaid Hussein is more experienced, but more experienced at what? He's been to the ring more times than Hope is a pro. But if you look at the fights, and if you look at the guys that Hope is for, he's fought a couple of guys there that have come to win, not come to just go through motions. He's come to win. It's a big. That's experience. Sparring countless rounds with Kid Galahad, Leon Woodstock at super featherweight just fought for a British title, Jordan Gill, Akib Fiaz, sparring all these top fighters. Reece Bellotti, for Bellotti's last fight and Opie's last fight, they did an 8-rounder and a 10-rounder. Sparring with all these kind of experienced men, experienced pros, different styles, but at a much higher level than what Opie is now in their careers. That's experience. That is experience. And don't forget, he had a great amateur record, great amateur experience as well, fighting all the top kids as well, boxing, junior Olympic golds, boxing in world championships, Europeans, all that sort of thing. So, where is Zaid Hussein more experienced? We'll see on Saturday night. I know what my man's capable of doing. I know what I see him consistently, day in, day out, day in, day out. And that's why in his last fight, only 2 weeks ago, they were all saying, but he's fighting against Zaid Hussein. Do you want to take an easier fight? I was like, no. Every time they give me an opponent, I'm like, no. Because what is the point in him sparring all these top fighters and doing all the work that he's doing, and then going and fighting a guy that's not as good as the guys, nowhere near the level of guys that he's sparring? Well, what's the point in that? Somebody's just going to try and tuck up. So I wanted Grande, who I knew was unbeaten, was going to come because he wants to be a big star in Italy on DAZN. I knew he would come for it, and he gave him a good fight, and that's real experience.
Now, in that, you mentioned a couple of times Kid Galahad. I just want to put something to you, because our producer Josh is taking great claim for all of this, right? But what he did was, he had a word with Ali Drew recently, and he asked Ali Drew about Lee Wood, and then that led to a little bit of back and forth on Twitter between Lee Wood and Kid Galahad.
Oh, is it there?
So it's Josh who's taking all the glory. He thinks he's a king matchmaker now. There he is. So he thinks he's the man. But what can you tell us then? You manage Lee Wood, obviously. What can you tell us about that and the next step for him and all the rest of it?
Well, I've been like Josh, just watching it spice up on Twitter. I'm like, whoa, okay. And listen, Lee will take that fight in an heartbeat. We've got an issue at the moment where we've got a rematch, because obviously Kanzu was the champion, boxing literally in Eddie's backyard. So Golden Boy had a rematch clause. No problem. I was surprised they took the rematch clause. I didn't think they'd take it, but they have. So they want the rematch. But then the WBA have turned around and said that Lee has to fight Michael Conlon, who brilliant performance and everything. But this is where the problem with the WBA is. There was no need to make an interim title fight the week after their world title's been contested for. You've got Leo Santa Cruz, who's supposed to be the super champion, that hasn't defended for 2.5 years, not boxed at the weight for 2 years. So why are you still calling him world champion? Because he's got he's not been defending it. He should have been kicked into touch. Kanzu's ranked about number 3 in the Ring magazine, fights Lee Wood. They fight for the real world title, not the regular world title. But then a week after that, they've made up an interim title on the spot. It's like, why? There's no need for that. So we just got to tidy up that mess, and I ain't got a clue what's happening.
Oh, well, that's boxing, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
unfortunately.
Great to have your company, Dave, and we look forward to Saturday night, so thanks for joining us.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Well, an array of stars at the Queen's Hotel in Leeds ahead of this big night in Headingley. Josh Warrington against Mauricio Lara. And to get inside the head of Josh Warrington, we heard from him earlier, but who knows him better? Well, nobody knows him better than his old man. We caught up with him. We saved him till last. Just give us a bit of insight into this fight, because we know what Josh thinks about it. He wanted to fight this guy, he didn't want to mess about, he wanted to right the wrongs. What was your thinking? Exactly the same?
My thinking was pretty much the same as his, really. I know if we'd have asked for another fight in between a warm-up, he'd have looked straight over the warm-up, and it'd have been Mauricio Lara. And the same thing could have happened. I mean, there's less chance of the same thing happening going straight into the rematch with Lara. Just chipping away at him mentally. He just wouldn't rest until he got this fight secured. So, here we are.
And you're as confident as Josh now?
Absolutely. I'm even more confident because I don't have to fight him. You know what I mean? No, of course I am. Yeah, I'm confident.
In fact, I know you're confident because you've already told me that last time when the unthinkable happened, you had to cancel your deposit on your motorhome because there were no big paydays coming nice and quickly. You're that confident, you've gone and bought something, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I've bought myself a nice little camper van. It's been imported from Japan by a company called DYC.
You obviously got a good deal if you're promoting it.
DYC in York. I mean, there are other garages, but I prefer them. George, if you're listening, he's going to get me a few quid off. No, I have, yeah, I have. Last time I had to ring dealer and tell him put it on hold, like, you know what I mean. And then I nearly sold Volvo and got Fiesta back out at garage.
Right.
Yeah.
So you put the guilt on him anyway for that?
Yes, absolutely. No, I mean, this time, this is career defining, really, isn't it? You know, we can laugh and joke, and I don't like a laugh and a joke because otherwise it becomes too serious, causes rifts between yourselves if you're too serious. So, but it is serious business. I mean, what this fight is actually career defining. You know, where does he go from here if he gets beat? That's it, it's over, isn't it?
He's a confident lad, Lara, as well, isn't he?
He's very confident, yeah. I mean, he will be after last performance, but I mean, let's be honest, you're going to be confident if you think that's what you've got to do. I'll train a little bit harder and I'll do the same thing again, but I think what I've reminded a few people today that I've spoke to is, I mean, one interviewer just says, after him walking through Josh last time, let's get it right, he didn't walk through him. We were in front when we stopped. We're actually winning fight. We came back after being dropped in 4th round, and a 50% Josh Warrington were hurting him. And he was hurting him. I mean, we came out, all our injuries seemed to be internal, you know. But Easy was marked up, it looked like he'd been run over. But yeah, he's confident, rightly so. I'm glad he's confident, because if you're overconfident, then it can lead to mistakes, can't it? And, you know, a misunderstanding of what he's actually facing on Saturday. But Saturday night he's going to get the real Josh Warrington.
So what's the game plan? Because Josh isn't the kind of fighter that we'd expect to be on his toes. So what do you do differently?
I think what we do differently, without giving so much away, is we do the fundamentals, but we do them extremely well. Fights, you know, boxing people make it so complicated. And I've seen trainers and I've seen them do it. I've seen them do it to lads, and lads actually believe it, because they make out there's some sort of scientific equation behind boxing, and it's not. It's either hitting or getting it. That's it. You've only got two hands. You've got a pair of arms, a pair of legs. That's it. It's about performing the fundamentals, but performing them well. That's all it is.
Hit him in the head dead hard.
Just give him it. Just give him it. Give him it and try not to get it yourself.
Be a good night in Leeds as well, won't it? Be very special. Another very special one in Leeds.
Oh, listen, I mean, I think we're not playing his own trumpet here, but before this, what were they? Boxing-wise, same shows, same venues, and I won't say week in, week out because it was a couple of times a year, maybe. A lot of small old stuff, and credit to them for having at least some boxing in Leeds. But you see this build today, and you see resurgence in boxing in Leeds since we've kind of started performing and selling tickets like we do, Leeds Arena, Ellen Road, I mean, people say we don't fight away from home. Rubbish. They're absolute rubbish. We've fought all over. People forget about us early fights, very early on in career, where we've gone on after the main event in leisure centres in Huddersfield, or we've been in Manchester, or we've been in Hull, So, very special in Leeds. First time boxing's ever happened at Headingley Stadium.
Great venue. And of course, you've got Maxi on as well, and his story has just been fantastic. You've got a very healthy stable there, haven't you?
It's a small stable, but it's very, very healthy. I won't give any names yet, but there's one or two looking to come along and join, so I think we're going to, whatever happens on Saturday, and I can't see anything else other than a win, we're going to go on and on and on from there. With no intention of boxing slowing down in Leeds.
And Maxi, again, it's not all about Josh, is it, for you? It's Maxi as well. Huge night for him.
Absolutely. Maxi was massive night. I mean, if he wins this fight on Saturday, then he's straight in that mix there with Devon Haney's and likes, so I mean, we'll deal with that.
You might have to go to Vegas then.
Yeah, go on then, at a push. At a push.
Get your van over there.
Get my camper van. I don't ever get my camper van over there. I don't like flying, so I'll have to set off 3 weeks early on boat, won't I? And a bit of overland as well.
I know that you like a laugh and a joke, but I know you're a serious trainer, and they all say that about you as well. And you're gonna have a serious night on Saturday night. So I hope it all goes fantastic for you, Sean.
Well, I do myself dumb, to be honest. But yeah, like you say, we have a laugh and a joke. Stops it becoming monotonous. But them lads know when we step through them gym doors and we say, right, let's go work now, they know it's serious. And nobody trains like them lads,
Well, I think it's only fair that Sean O'Hagan has the final word on the Betfred Boxing Show. So thank you very much indeed for watching it. All the action is in Leeds this weekend, of course.
There we go. Well, listen, there's still a few tickets left. Are we still on?
If you speak, we're on.
There's still a few tickets left at the box office. Headingley Stadium, the best bill that I've seen in boxing for many a year. Get yourselves up to Headingley, ranging from 40 quid up to, I don't know, couple of £100. But get yourself there. This is one not to be missed.